you again for joining us. Very much looking forward to covering today's topics, which will be digital marketing, campaigning, and customer relations. So yeah, this all forms part of an initiative run by the UK South Africa Tech Hub, in which we are trying to empower entrepreneurs and business owners in the wake of COVID-19. And it's all towards the drive towards promoting online sales and online marketing. We'll get into it in just a second, just the last couple more extra people coming in. But let me introduce you in the meantime to what we're doing today. So the purpose of today's workshops, and let me introduce myself as well. My name is Dylan. I work at the Loudhailer. We are the implementation partner for this project to the UK South Africa Tech Hub. Today we're joined by three wonderful speakers, all masters in their field, everything got to do with digital marketing, campaigning, and customer relationship management. And it's a very important part of online sales, very much a driving force behind lead generation and getting more people to engage with your company and your product. So as we all know, especially for the business owners among us, COVID-19 has been a very unprecedented shock to the system. I don't think anyone needs to be reminded about what the hard lockdown was like and what the following weeks and months have been. A lot of businesses were forced to close, and this severely limited the ability of people to make sales and to earn a revenue. In addition, it's also forced a lot of people to move their businesses online if they haven't been there before. But this is quite a challenging process for a lot of us, especially those of us who aren't tech-savvy natives, who are pretty much born with an iPad in their hand. So this whole project is about getting you up to speed with the world of online sales, looking at various different concepts, theories, tools, platforms that you can use to take your business online in the post-COVID world and get back to sales and get back to making a revenue and just thriving as the term goes. So what we're looking at today is going to be digital marketing and digital campaigning and digital or customer relationship management. And it's all going to be focused on pretty much getting you up to speed with how to market your product and market your business and different ways you can go about it and engage with your customers on the online world. So if you are doing things with e-commerce, it's just going to amplify all these things that you're doing and take it to the next level. So the workshops are brought to you by the UK South Africa Tech Hub. They are part of the International Tech Hub Network, which is forms part of the UK government's Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport. And the South African Tech Hub is just one of many located all throughout Africa. And they are designed to help stimulate technology and startups and the ecosystem in these areas where they work to build partnerships for innovation between people in the tech sectors and international business for pretty much all-round growth. So they're made up of a bunch of experts, and through their activities and projects and plans, they help give entrepreneurs and founders the skills, resources, and support they need to turbocharge their entrepreneurship journey. Now, the agenda for today, as I said, we're going to be covering three topics. The first one will be branding and digital marketing, and this is going to be presented by Sarah. She is our local expert. She comes from Germany originally, but she is very much clued up on how to do it in the South African market. The next one is going to be digital campaigning, which will be presented by Vernon Adams. He's the Chief Marketing Officer at African News or African ANA. And then the third one is going to be Mashan Ratan, who is a customer relationship management expert, but also just an expert in the whole field. And we'll close it all up with a Q&A session towards the end for about 5–10 minutes, depending on how much time we have left. So just some rules of the workshop as we get into it. Number one, for the benefit of others, please keep your microphone and video off. It just means we will be able to hear each other clearly. There will be less distractions. And of course, if you'd like to engage, please feel free to ask any questions you want in the chat. Our presenters, they may either answer the questions as we go along, or we'll collate them for the end and we'll ask them over the live stream so everyone can hear and everyone can get the insights from it. Also, just to appease everyone's concerns, if you are needing to dip out halfway through or anything like that, or you come late, we are recording the session and we will upload it and share it with you after the event for your own notes and reference and to be used later. Also, if there's anyone who you think would benefit from the session but isn't able to join us today, feel free to share them the link, and they're more than happy to watch it. We're not keeping any secrets here. So our first presenter, as I said, is Sarah Heinz. She is the founder and managing director of Digital Fox. This is a marketing agency that specializes in helping SMEs around the world develop tailor-made brand identities and advertising campaigns. She is a wizard when it comes to things like Google Ads and PPC, which is pay-per-click advertising and sales campaigns. She is an expert in advertising on social media and on digital platforms, and is very passionate about helping local entrepreneurs grow their businesses. She's also, if anyone doesn't know, a self-made mompreneur. In that she is also a very successful social media blogger and influencer. Our next speaker will be Vernon Adams. So as I was saying, Vernon is the Chief Marketing Officer at African News Agency, also known as ANA. And here he oversees the development and implementation of a range of bespoke marketing and media campaigns and solutions on behalf of the entire organization. So for anyone that doesn't know ANA, they are pretty much a very big, I think Vernon will probably correct me on a very big media house in South Africa. And they pretty much provide news to a whole load of publications such as IOL and those sort of things. He's also a specialist in designing and managing integrated marketing campaigns across media platforms and publications, and he's been instrumental in training and developing people, systems, and strategies across a variety of media houses. If anyone was also around listening to radio in the last few years, he's also been a very prominent radio producer and presenter, having worked on Cape Talk and Good Hope FM. Our final presenter for the day is Mashan Ratan. He is the Director for Strategy and Creative at Publicis Commerce. They are known as one of the big 4 marketing agencies in the world. Really, really big with that, and they have an international reach, work with a range of companies, and we're really honored to have him here with us today. He's got really great expertise in developing brand strategies and campaigns for business and working specifically with companies in e-commerce. He's also the Chief Marketing Officer at a local startup called Rentosa, and he's the owner and founder of Radius Consulting Group, which is a strategic marketing and branding agency based in Joburg. So yeah, with a career spanning 20 years, he's pretty much worked with a range of big companies such as ABSA, South African Breweries, and also the WPP Group. So we're going to start with our first presentation. This one is from Sarah, and we'll jump right into it. Again, if you have any questions going forward, feel free to leave them in the chat, and we'll keep them towards the end. But Sarah, over to you.
Thanks so much for the intro, Dylan, and for the opportunity to present today. Oopsie, yeah, here we go. Okay, first of all, a few words about Digital Fox. Digital Fox is a pay-per-click agency. I will come back to that now, explaining what pay-per-click actually is. And we specialize in small to medium-sized enterprises, and how we work is using the build, measure, learn approach. And we believe that pay-per-click is one of the most effective ways to generate revenue. And yeah, so as I said, Digital Fox is a marketing agency, and in the past 2 years, we worked on more than 80 clients. And I'm very proud to say that our turnover grew about 3 times during the COVID-19 crisis, which was basically enabling brands to jump online or to build out their online presence on the e-commerce space or via lead generation. And this is just a brief overview of some of the clients we worked with. As I said, so if you're looking at branding, it's also important as an agency to position yourself. So we love working with SMEs, and we work with them worldwide, and have also worked with companies across Germany, seeing that I'm from Germany originally, the UK and the Middle East. And we also focus on generating leads and B2C sales. And we're very happy to say that 95% of our clients have referred us on, and this is how we grow our client database. There's no bigger compliment for a marketer than being referred on. And Today, I would like to share some insights how you can position your brand online in order to stand out. So what is branding? I found this very nice definition. So branding is quite a broad term, but in basic, it's a marketing practice in which a company creates a name, a logo, a symbol or design that makes the company identifiable. And the areas where branding is used is obviously advertising, but it's also across the whole user journey. You'll find that in customer service, you find it in merchandise, it reflects on the reputation and obviously in the logo of the brand. So what does this mean now for promoting your brand online? So we know that on average, we're bombed with ads. We see hundreds of ads every day, and within seconds, we decide if the brand is relevant for us or if it's not. And we also know that the organic reach is very low. Like you're posting on social media, you feed your website with blog posts, but that does not give you the exposure needed to grow your brand fast. So we believe that pay-per-click marketing is one of the best ways to position your brand online. So first of all, pay-per-click marketing, I'll show you some examples after that. It's measurable, so we can see how many people saw your ad, how many people clicked on your ad, and what is the ratio of what you're spending on marketing and the sales or leads you generated. And all of that, beyond that, we can also measure the relevancy of your ads. So we can see how many people saw your ad and how many people clicked on it. Is the ad interesting or not? And then from there, we make relevant changes. We also know that pay-per-click marketing is one of the best tools for instant results. It's faster than SEO and organic posting. I'm not saying that these marketing tools are not important. It's just that we can turn things around faster. So let's say spring is coming, summer is coming, you want to promote a summer range. The pay-per-click marketing is ideal because you can immediately promote your products, or if you're even launching a new product. But you can also run specials. You can say, I'm running a payday sale, or I'm having a 30% of everything sale, and with that you can get your message out immediately. But what makes pay-per-click marketing also is really nice is the scalability. So it makes your marketing predictable. You can say, if I invest X amount, I will get most likely X returns. And also pay-per-click marketing does better over time, helping your brand to grow. And it increases follow in regards to sales, and that's ultimately what we're all after. So these are some of our examples. I picked local companies. So for example, as I said, we work with SMEs, and we're promoting, we're assisting Klein River Cheese with their marketing, and they managed to stand out. When I looked yesterday, the ad was actually above Pick and Pay, which makes me very happy. So it helps small brands to stand out against big brands. And how does that happen? It happens through specialization, because Klein River Cheese, they only make cheese. And that's also very important for your brand, that you not do everything, but you focus on what you're really good at, and that is what you promote online. Then what we also do is we create video ads, and we actually create those videos from scratch. Creating videos does not need to be expensive. You can use your cell phone, then you edit some stock images, and you focus on telling a story in your video. And this is also how your brand can stand out. Then we obviously promote your brand on product level, as we do with Google Shopping ads. We also assist with app downloads, and what we also do is we create lead landing pages. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to melt down all of the information that you have into a single offer, and that offer should be an irresistible offer. It's irresistible because it's so relevant. So if someone's looking, for example, here in this case for retirement planning, and they look exactly for that, and then they find exactly the information they need at that specific time, this is when they become your customer. And I just wanted to, because it's not quite clear what pay-per-click marketing actually needs and what it consists of. So we kind of work with a toolbox, and we can also work with just certain tools of this toolbox. So we can say we just run Google ads, or we just run the social ads, paid Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads. But we find that all of these tools actually work best in combination. So the first step is that you would look into creating a lead landing page or an online store. Then you start driving traffic via Google ads alongside with creating a community on your social pages. So we not just have special ads and offers that we promote, but we actually promote in our ads the organic content that you create, because we believe if you're going out of your way and you post 3 times a week on social media, people should see it, because we all know that the Facebook algorithm is limiting reach, and otherwise you cannot grow your brand online if you just rely on posting on social media and SEO activities. Then what we also assist with our clients, of what I can also recommend is that you really focus on having amazing ad creative. And that doesn't need to be expensive. So you can work with stock images, but as long as you're authentic and as long as you're consistent with your brand message in your creative, that if someone sees an ad, they immediately recognize your brand, then you're on the right track. And the last thing we believe is very important to understand your data, and that you have your data available in dashboards, because that will help you with important decisions, such as how much marketing you should be spending, how much budget you should be spending on your marketing. And then a few more principles summarized that will help you with your online marketing. And these are that, first of all, if you're running ads, the time you will spend with your customer is limited. The text they read is short, and if you're using more text, then you have to structure your text. You can use emojis, you work with bullet points, and you can experiment. You can have a very short brand message, and then you have a lengthy paragraph. But all of that comes down to that you focus on your benefits. So how it usually works is someone's either searching for something on Google or they're browsing the internet, but they have certain pain points. For example, their insurance is too expensive, or they have a change in their life, for example, expecting a child. So suddenly they're looking for different things, and their world and reality is changing. And then it's your job to address these pain points. For example, is your insurance too expensive? We have a solution for you. And then at the same time, you keep the message simple and you keep it consistent. So you have the same brand message on your Facebook ads as you have on your Google ads, as people will find on your website. And through that consistency, that makes your ad memorable and makes it stand out. The second tip I have, and that's so simple and straightforward, is to run a brand campaign. People are always like, why should I spend money on Google ads bidding on my own brand? It's so important, because if you don't bid on your brand, your competitors will do, and at least you make it more expensive for your competitors to bid on your brand. But plus, when you look into the whole buying or conversion cycle, you will see that first someone's looking for a very generic term. For example, they want to go on safari. Second time around, they want to go for safari in South Africa. Then they find a lodge. So then they type Loudhailer Lodge, and if you are the owner of Loudhailer Lodge, you want people to convert on that term, because this is how the buying cycle or purchase cycle will be closed. And then targeting your competitors, that's a bit of a controversial topic. Some brands say they don't work against their competitors, but they rather work in an ecosystem and they do not want to bid on their competitors. If you bid on your competitors and your competitors do exactly what you do, you can be sure that the intent of inquiring or buying your product is very high. So usually we see very good conversion rates with competitor campaigns, but it's up to the brand to decide if this is a route they want to go. So just some metrics, I don't want to bore you too much, but these are the metrics you'll be dealing with. If you understand your metrics, only then you can make informed marketing decisions. So take the time to really understand. So it's very easy. You go into Google Ads, you go into Facebook, you hover with the cursor over the metric and it explains what it is. If you're still not sure what it is, there's YouTube videos that you can watch. There is a formula behind each metric, and if it makes click and you understand these metrics, then you can maneuver with your marketing spend, and you know where to invest and how to change your strategy. So one of the most important metrics for your brand is the click-through rate, which is simply the ratio of eyes on your brand and how does that translate into clicks. So the higher your click-through rate, the more on point your marketing is, and then you're doing something right, and you keep doing what you're doing. And the second very important metric is the ad quality score. So people often give this different names. They say it's the Facebook algorithm that's like limiting my ads, or they say it's the Google algorithm. It actually comes down to your ad quality score. What we often find is if the frequency is too high, so you have a very small audience, you target everyone who's been on your website, but these are just 1,000 people, and then you put a lot of budget behind it because you want everyone to see your ad a lot, and then your frequency is very high, so people see your ad 7, 10 or 15 times, then they're not interested, they don't engage, and then you get a low ad quality score. The same if your ad is repetitive. If you keep saying the same thing and just use a different image, Facebook doesn't like that. So keep your ads unique and you will have a good ad quality score. From a marketer point of view, our favorite metric is the conversion rate or the cost per conversion, because it shows how effective is our marketing. Are we spending a lot and we get little return? Then we must change strategy. And then the fourth one is, especially for branding, is ad recall lift. So this is a simple exercise. You can run an awareness campaign on Facebook, and then Facebook will show the user a questionnaire, and then we ask, do you remember seeing this ad? I actually gotten this myself and I was so excited. And then if people say, yes, I do remember this ad, and then it is a positive ad recall lift. So this is a very good approach to see how well people remember your brand. And then I just outlined some branding pitfalls. One of them is generic ad copy. So you will always see like, it's basically, you can, if you see insurance ads, sorry for always mentioning insurance, I can also use another example, financial products. And then you can't tell apart from which brand was the ad I just saw, because they all sound the same. Try to avoid that, try to stand out. And then not updating ads frequently. That happens so much if you, for example, switch from winter to summer, or you're running a campaign with a promo code. Put a notification in your calendar when your promo ends, because it's very likely that you forget to update your own ads. And then look in your ads. You don't want to have ads from last year. So we find ad fatigue. They appear through two things: having too much of frequency, showing the same ad the whole time, and then having an ad running for longer than 2-3 months. So if you focus on these things, you can be sure that your brand is well presented online. And then some takeaway messages. So you can speed up your branding and getting your brand out there through pay-per-click marketing. This not only applies for startups or for product launches, it's for anyone. And even as an established company, you consistently focus on pay-per-click marketing. It helps you on every level. And then make data work for you. Understand your metrics, understand your stats, that the data speaks to you. Only when you understand the metrics, you can make informed decisions. And then stand out through simplicity. So keep things simple. If you try to sell something complex, try to simplify the message. Like, think of, would my mother understand this, what I'm advertising? And then keep your ads updated. So put notifications when your special runs out, and just make it like a monthly task to come up with new ads. You never know they outperform the existing ads. So it's really good to keep your ads exciting and use your promoted posts on Facebook, tie them into your marketing campaign. And from my point of view, test the competitor campaign, tap into their target audiences, and don't forget to also promote your own brand on Google with a brand campaign so you can close the conversion cycle. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. You just take back control. Thanks. That was really, really informative. It's such, ads are such a commonplace in today, and I know a lot of us probably get more frustrated when we're, for instance, when I'm watching YouTube and I see an ad come across. All I want to do is listen to the music, but there are other times when an ad really speaks to you, and it doesn't seem so much like this is just in your way. It's actually something really, really solvable to a situation you face, and that all speaks to creating something that is very relevant, specific, very well created, bespoke, that is actually there to target someone's needs and actually captivates their interest in that way. So yeah, really, really insightful. Thank you so much. Also, while we're all here, if you'd like to share with us who you are, feel free to say, share your name, what you work, what work you do, your company you represent in the comments. We'll give some shout outs later on. But we're now going to move on to our second topic for the day, which will be the basics of digital campaigning. And this is going to be with Vernon. So Vernon, if you want to take control, I'll pass on to you.
Thank you, Matt. I'm trying to, there, have I taken control? Looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
Welcome, everyone. I work for the African News Agency. We are most probably, in African media terms, one of the best kept secrets. We bring Africa's story to the world and the world's media to Africa. So that's been our job for the last 3 years. We're relatively a success story. We have 43 media partners across the continent. These are publisher partners, some specialist agencies who make media content for news and for news consumption, and a cumulative audience of about 68 million that we serve every day. So unlike other media, we are not what people would consider your standard agency. So you might have heard of Reuters, Bloomberg, agencies of that nature. We're entirely an African innovation, that we believe in partnership. So we have given companies that others would also consider SMEs in the media industry, we've given them the opportunity to join hands with us and basically to sell to the world. So in doing all of that, every day I spend around digital campaigns and digital campaigning. And yes, the pay per click model is most probably going to be one of the places you should begin in. But what you need to understand is how to construct and consistently manage your digital campaign plan. And that plan in its stages and phases should never change. So firstly, I want to thank you for being part of today, because it's courage that has got you to where you are in your businesses. And it should be the same courage that gets you into digital campaign management. Be courageous, seek information. Do not believe everything you watch on YouTube, and be careful of those that are selling you online digital campaign courses and things of that nature. I referred to my colleague before me, Sarah. Great agencies like hers will take you through the process properly and healthily, whereas others are going to pull you online from one point to the other and confuse you around digital services and digital campaign management. There are basically, and there should only be, 5 basic stages to your campaign planning and management, right? You're going to develop, produce, and manage your digital campaign in these 5 stages. There's strategy, plan, create, execute, and review. We'll see them in the next few slides. Each of these stages have essential steps. It's those steps that you must really invest in. You want to know in your strategy stage that you have stuck to your steps, or you will not have a complete strategy. And it's those incomplete phases that will actually totally mess up your digital campaigning. So stick to your phases and stick to your steps. They'll be recorded and they'll be in the slide presentation for you to go over. But remember that each one of these matter, and you don't want to skip a step, basically. Ultimately, marketing terms, no matter what you're doing, online or offline, you are building a relationship. You heard the term benefits, and I know as many of you did when you were researching your businesses, or at this point when you're setting up your business, you're trying to find out what makes me beneficial and relevant to my buyer, my customer. This is the relationship you continue to build on. You want to be beneficial, but you want to be authentic. And then most importantly, you want to consistently deliver on your promise to your customer. Whether it is that new summer campaign that Sarah was talking about, you want to show that your benefits, your relevance, and your authenticity stands out in market. You're going to do that now in most probably the biggest marketing space that's ever existed in human history, digital campaigning. It's immediate. It needs to be relevant. But it is sitting in a place that might look like this. Many campaigns look and feel like this. I'm sure for those of you who've already tried digital campaigning, you could feel like a lonely person in a boat fishing in the same pond. And that is where we don't want you to be. Let's take it further. Let's get you to the first phase of your digital campaign. Strategy. This is phase one, or stage one of your campaign, right? You've done a lot of this work in setting up your business. You're now going to continue this in managing your digital campaign. So you want to analyze your market. Like I said before, you started out doing market research. Don't ever stop. Always continue your market analysis. This never ends. You're going to continuously do your market research, and you're going to continuously apply that research. You need to refine it now in terms of your digital strategy. You cannot have a plan without a strategy. The strategy comes first. So likewise, in your digital marketing management, you are going to begin with a strategy. If you're analyzing your market, you think you might know everything about your market. But realistically, you're analyzing your market now from its digital side. You're asking, where are the customers going? What are my competitors doing? Right? Who's buying from them? Do I have any data, any market surveys, any digital data that can let me know where the market is currently? The market currently, post-COVID or during COVID, is in a very stressed state. I don't have to tell you that. So it becomes even more important that you go and find relevant data. I'll talk about some of the research tools that you can use as well. So you've analyzed your market. Now you want to get that research refined, right? You need to know a lot. Your market is broad. Your market is your customers. Your market could be part of your competitors. Your market could be what's currently happening to the world around your market, right? And thereby affecting your market. But your research becomes the laser target you use about your competitors and in their digital success and failures. This can be quickly picked up, right? Understanding your competitors isn't such a hard thing to do. You are basically a competitor yourself. You're competing with other businesses, so you should be sizing yourself up against them, and constantly. So there's online tools that you can use to do this. They're paid tools, but some of them come with trial periods. So there's a tool called SEMrush, right, that you can use, and there's a tool called Ahrefs. They're going to offer you breakdowns of digital performance. Ahrefs, by the way, is spelled Ahrefs. They are going to give you digital performance breakdowns of your own digital products and your competitors. So it's going to be great to match up and see what's traffic like, what have they been clicking on, what have they been buying. And most of them have trial periods for up to 14 days. Please use them. But remember, in these steps, again, in strategy, you've got to research your competitors before you can develop. The final phase of your strategy is know your goals and objectives. You need to have defined 3 to 5 clear goals and objectives for each campaign. We're going to dig into some of that around the buyer's personas, so you know how to service your buyer or nurture or convert new clients, right? And existing clients, of course. What is your overall aim? What specifically are you hoping to achieve? And then we're going to dig deep into who specifically will your campaign target? How long will it run? And yes, you could have extended pay-per-click campaigns, but you need a campaign that sits well in market. You're not fishing in the same ocean, well, in the same lake, literally in the same place as your competitors, and that it's not cluttered. And there's a lot of ad fatigue in the market. You yourselves are skipping by, but now you find yourselves even on YouTube being stuck for the 5 seconds that the ad has to play before you can watch the video. Your customers are in the same space. They are stressed by the same ads. So we need to make sure that in your strategy, before you even get to the point of content design, you know, this is my goal and objective with this campaign. It's a seasonal campaign. It's a discount push. It is a major campaign for product launch. And the goals, the things I want to achieve is build out new customers. Be that precise and be that definitive with your goals and objectives. The more specific you can be at this stage, the better. We can't have a great digital strategy if it's not detailed. And even in the process detailing that you're going to put through your strategy plan, which is your final product, your plan is your final product out of all of this marketing stages. The more specific we are here at the strategy stage, the better. Otherwise, we're not going to have a great informed plan. I'm so used to interacting with people at this point, but I will keep going. And I hope it's making sense. So let's get to plan. We've come through stage 1 and strategy. Now we need to build our plan. And it's simple, right? Again, the steps in planning. Who are we targeting? Where do we want to find them? What content do they like? Did we pick that up from our data research? Do we know from our own first-party data, in other words, what they're buying from us, right? What has been our best sellers? Are we taking that back to market? And then how long will our campaign run? It's important. And then determining your campaign success. But the first part I want to dig into is the who. Defining that buyer's persona is important, guys. And in digital marketing, even more so important is just to know how you're going to serve that persona. Knowing what their attributes are. So what's the real characteristics of your clients and their attributes, right? Do you have a core client profile, starting with age, job role, income, so that you know this is my core client, right? Then are you going to approach those clients with themes that you can use as a foundation of your content creation? Do you have keywords that's going to be strong with these clients, keywords that applies to your product or service? And then, of course, which channels are you going to choose? So who are you targeting? Where do we find them? So you know where most of your clients would live in the real world. You know the locales and the spaces they might buy in from your online store. So go back and understand where are they right now. that might have changed a lot during COVID. So take cognizance of this. Your clients might not be in the same spaces online. They might be even in a stronger position online. The entire buying habit could have changed. So you know that your clients are shifting, they're moving to convenience. And where are they in terms of their online location? What content do they like? Find out what your buyers are liking. It's very important then again to go back to your competitor analysis and see if it matches up to what you want to put in your plan. So from the strategy to the plan, you are cross-checking your research. And how will you determine your success? Naturally, you're going to look at benchmarks, milestones that you're setting, and you're saying, during this campaign, I want to see this many click-throughs. I want to see this many clients landing on my page. That helps in determining your success. So we get to the important part. If we find the first two stages, you can start creating. Creation is most probably the part where most people feel they have to hand over to specialists, to designers, to visual designers. But you need to participate in this creation form. You need to try at this point to get involved, even if it's in the rudimentary understanding of what would my digital ad look like? How do I perceive it? Because if you can't visualize it, right? And and you can't actually communicate that visualization, it's going to be very hard when you're dealing with production. You might be wowed by digital images and to some extent you might like some of the copy. But if you haven't visualized how that works for your customer and how they would feel or react to it, then the content is not going to sit well. So once you know the buyer you're targeting, you know the buyer persona, you need to now choose the type of content you're going to create. Naturally, check your budget. Do you have in-house resources? Do you have assets like logos, product images that you are holding on to? They should be in your resource pack as your visual resources. Do you have a designer? How, internally, how's that process for you from budget to the resource application to the design? Map out those steps when you're going through this creation component. When you get to the content type, we all know in business, we want to create content for our target audiences that will bring them into a buying journey. We either want them aware of our product, we want them converted to it, we want to nurture them to buy more as an existing user or buyer. We want to know in the content creation that we are creating in either one or all of these areas. We can combine some of them. We can create awareness, right, with a conversion element. So the content can be developed on a basis where we want people to also share it. So is it rewarding content? And often, I don't hear enough of this in digital marketing, that we're approaching our client with a gift, with a reward, with an additional benefit to buying. And we work with media product. We often approach our clients where they've bought huge volumes of content and say, oh, but we're giving you more than what you just acquired. And that kind of delight and surprise for the client, that helps in the big R, which in our context is not rands, but it's relationship. We'll continue to build out that relationship. So conversion, awareness and conversion really do sit well together, right? They're a great space in your content creation to create a campaign that not only makes the person aware, but converts them to the product, and you need to bring them into this journey in a way, again, it's authentic to your product or service, but in a way that the ad design feels like it is matching this. Wow, I'm aware of something I didn't know anything about, and it's beneficial to me. Do I want to share that with friends and family? Do I think it's a great offer that other people should know about, right? And Am I converted to it now? Am I buying into it? On the nurture content side, for me, that's like a retention strategy. It becomes educational, where you've got users who have moved to a level where they want to be more engaged with your brand. They are really, in a sense, becoming not only brand fans or regular buyers, but they're in a sense in a deeper relationship with you and the product. And I mean you as the brand. So the brand's personality runs through all marketing. It's there in digital campaigning and in every aspect of your engagement of the customer or the client. They have a sense of you through all of these journeys. Make sure that you always keep that brand identity as part of this. It's got to show up somewhere. So in a sense, if your brand promise is as strong as your service and your product delivery, you want to keep reminding folks that, there's an element of that value even in the marketing. So when you say the freshest or the best or the latest or whatever, you want you want to amplify those values in your marketing. You don't just want to have repeat copy that this is the product I'm selling and here's its features. So when we execute, love the picture, Dylan, thank you. We're going to make sure that we have everything in our content calendar, our scheduling. It's our first step to understanding we've gotten through the other stages. We know what design elements and assets we're going to use. What is our schedule in terms of our campaign run, the length of our campaign? That's important, right? Constantly, and I'm pedantic about this, we check within our organization that we're on schedule. And there's so many tools that are going to help you with digital posting, but to some extent, you might forget. You might put a schedule together, and there might be manual elements that need to be posted. Please own your schedule. Make sure that everyone in the organization, if it's only you, that you are working off that content schedule. And you created it for a reason. So every piece of content that you've put into your campaign, you need to understand how it lands from the beginning to the end of the campaign. And if that content is going to help in stages like an early teaser release or a midpoint content post that reminds folks that the special offer is still running, you need to keep that narrative well placed. So don't mess up your posting or your scheduling. You've chosen your final content. You then go into post, and straightforward, you're looking at your distribution channel, which you would have set up before in finding where your clients or your buyers are. So in this posting phase, yes, you're going live basically. Check your posts. Check them from every channel that you're working on. Hover over their analytics and take a look at how your posts are actually, how they're landing, how they're performing. But in the monitoring phase, start asking questions about the performance levels. I don't want to use the jargon, but think if it's an underperforming post, should I change things up, right? Should I go for more frequency? Is this channel not working for me? Should I leave the Instagram channel if my posts are doing better on Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook? Or if my video ads are performing better on YouTube or any of the other video channels? And respond where required. Look at what your customers are saying. Respond as brand. It's pretty important that they know that you're actively out there. Campaigns that bring enjoyment, that bring excitement to users, those campaigns are responsive. The brand responds and lets people know we're here, we see what you're doing, we see how you're interacting with the new product, and we're delighted by it, or we're proud of it, or we're aware of some of your queries or questions. Those can be general responses, and they're very helpful during your campaign. And then finally, review. the analytics matter. You're going to see so many components in terms of the analytics as you go from channel to channel, those Insta feeds or anywhere else where you can see the likes, the views. Try and consolidate those analytics and turn them into reports that you can understand in terms of the general performance of your campaign. Don't drown in the analytics, right? Measuring this digital marketing, such an important thing. You're going to have to get used to it within your team. If you've got experts who will come on and help you, you can customize those reports to take a look at how your campaign performed, even against your competitors or other campaigns in market. It's very important. The more you can measure, the more data you can collect, right? The more key performance indicators you can track, graphs, stats, metrics you can use, better you are going to understand your online audience, how they engaged with your campaign, and the better you are going to then mark off your campaign's performance based on your objectives, what you said before. Your objectives and your goals, you're going to measure these reports. They are going to be kind of the final indicators of your success. And then impact. So irrespective of, we see our failures and our successes, and we seem to misunderstand that in both areas is impact, right? How would it impact on us internally as a strategy team or as a business owner? What do I have to do next? Did my budget not work? Did my campaign not work, and why? What is that impact? And that informs my future action. And I think if you apply all of these stages, if you work from strategy to plan to creation, execution, and review, follow these steps, you get to this future action moment where you can really dig in and have almost a big view of your next steps, because there are many boats in this digital ocean. There's so much going on in terms of the attention economy for the users, right? It is going to adjust all the time. So whether it be Google, Facebook, or anywhere else where advertising platforms and systems are being offered to you, that is a lot of ocean to cover. But you need to know in your future action, where do I want to grow? And where will my campaigns live best for the next short or long term? I hope that was helpful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks, Vernon. Thank you so much. Also, very, very informative. And we got some questions ahead of the workshop regarding specifically the campaign elements of it and the importance of doing research. Just one more time, while I have you here, can you just mention again, you mentioned two tools that people can use when it comes to research. Just if you wouldn't mind mentioning them again and maybe writing them in the comment section.
So I would recommend Ahrefs. It's Ahrefs. And you want to use this as data analysis, comparing your own site performances or campaign performances. And let me get the other one, which is SEMrush. That's capital S, capital E, capital M, RU, and lowercase rush, RUSH. I'll put them in the chat screen. It's a good space to start with your data analysis.
For sure. Thanks so much. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Vernon. Like someone said, awesome topic. I see there, Eloise says, so good. Thank you, Vernon. I agree. But we need to keep going, pushing ahead. So we're going to move on to the third and final topic for today. Let me just take back control and move us forward, which is going to be focusing on customer relationship management. And Mashan, if you're there, if you wouldn't mind taking, and I'll pass it. I think you might. There we go.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, there we go. We can see you.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Dylan. Hi, everybody. I'm quite excited to present this to you. I think just from the previous presenters, I think this makes sense to put as the third piece, because it'll sort of put everything together a little bit for you and how you think about it. Just from my side, so I, as Dylan said, I'm strategy and creative director at Publicis Commerce here based in Johannesburg. I also am an entrepreneur and I run a consultancy, so I wear many different hats. And at the core of all of this really is, and what drives everything that I do, is understanding consumers and understanding customers and understanding their behavior. And this is also why CRM is so vital and why I have a huge interest in CRM, is that you have to understand the behavior of people. And there's so much out there. There's so many platforms. There's so many people that are interacting with you on a daily basis that you need some sort of centralized location to ensure that you can keep track of everything. Because if you don't, things are going to fall through the cracks. You're not going to have a holistic view of landscape is like, what customers are looking for. So something like this, a CRM tool and a CRM platform, is extremely essential. I can't tell you how essential this is. And I learned the hard way about not having a CRM platform, specifically in my own business, which was silly of me, actually, because you as an entrepreneur, you want to just jump into things and you want to start and you want to get it going, which is amazing. But sometimes you've got to go, hey, what do I need to put in place to ensure that I can reach my goals more effectively and more efficiently? And I think that's why it's great presenting this kind of stuff to you guys. So I'm pretty sure knowledge on that. And just always think about, if you're running a business, especially in this day and age, that first and foremost, guys, whatever you're doing, if you want to evolve your business, you want efficiency, think about how you're going to manage your customer relationships. Okay, so let me get into it. So what I'm going to, hold on, how do you navigate here? Here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to take you through today is just what is CRM basically, why it's important, which I've touched on a little bit now, and how do you go about thinking around a CRM solution. And I'll give you an example that I've done for an insurance company as well, which should bring this to life a little bit. And I've worked across a few CRM platforms for different industries and different companies, and it's interesting what you learn in the different spaces, and that's why it's important for you to really understand your business. And for me, CRM solution is built off a strategy, and I'll take you through how I usually approach this with individual clients and as well as my own business. Okay, so the evolution of CRM. I mean, CRM has been around since the 80s, officially. But I mean, if you've had a sales team, my businesses before that, if they had a sales team and they had people actually selling stuff, it was something that they did anyway. It just wasn't a formalized thing, I suppose. Like you were still interacting with customers on a daily basis. You were trying to get more customers. You were looking at the same customers again, but it was still very primitive in the way that it operated. What's happened in the last 40 years or so, or 30 years, is that technology has proliferated like no one has ever seen before. And what this has done is that it's enabled us to evolve our offerings, and not just evolve the offering, it's enabled us to think a little bit differently. So in the 80s, it was all about the orders. How many orders can I get through and churn? And let me push out as much as I can. And CRM just helped me manage that. It was basic thing, get the order, fulfill it, and that's it. Then we started thinking about deals. How do I increase the volume? And that was about, okay, let me put deals in place, right? So everybody started putting these deals in place. Get this off this discounting, and that was great, right? And it worked. And then we got into a space where we started looking at reporting and analytics, which is, I think, pivotal in this whole space, because this allowed us to really look at what we were doing in terms of our orders, our deals, and everything, and seeing what was working and what wasn't. Because prior to that, it was just let's hit and hope, I suppose. So the reporting and analytics and the tools that started being developed around this helped us like really look at this. Then people sort of shifted their focus into customer experience, and everything was about the design around how do we give this person a really interesting experience with our business. How do I pitch up so that they see that I'm different and it attracts them, which is great. And that's, if you look into the tech space, It's extremely important when you look at your CX and your UX and how it actually drives consumer behavior and people onto your site and people through your business. And then where we are today, I suppose, is relationship centric, right? And this is essential again, is because we've got all of this data and business is changing, and there's so much coming at you all the time, in all these different spaces. It's not just about the experience that you face with the business or consumers face with your business. It's about, how do I actually understand this person? How do I build a relationship with them? Because there's maybe 5 or 10 other people or businesses that are doing similar things. And whoever understands that customer better is going to keep that customer. And this is where we are with CRM currently. And it's about understanding the relationship that we have to have with our customers, because it's the only way we can completely add value to their lives and again to our businesses, and continually grow our businesses. Okay, so just, as a basic definition, CRM is just basically a system to analyze customer interactions, measure the data and the journeys with your business, right? The goal at the end of the day, which is important that the CRM system does, is to build relationships, and that's through 2 things. That's acquisition and it's retention. And retention is the big thing that we're trying to work through here with CRM, and that's why we have it. And of course, the outcomes here for all of this is that we want to look at creating customer lifetime value. And that, again, it's for consumer and it's for us. Customer lifetime value enables us to extract as much value as we can from someone or a person for the service or the product that we're selling to them. So I think if I could use an example of banks, FAB, everybody knows very well. I think financial institutions are getting this done quite effectively, and it's about they understanding your buying behaviors and your spend behaviors and what assets you have, and they're finding ways to sort of bring all of these things together in a really interesting way. So if you've had your insurance somewhere else and your car is sitting somewhere else, they find ways to try and bring it all together, because what that's doing at the end of the day is that it's giving them a better view of who you are, your lifestyle, your behaviors, your spending habits. And all that does is that enables them to give you the right information and the right products at the right time in your life stage, right? And at the end of all of this, what we're trying to do is increase revenue, guys. That's why we do this. It's to increase revenue and make sure we can scale our businesses. Okay. So just a few benefits of CRM, right? So I think number one, well, it doesn't have to be in this specific order, but number one is collaboration through integration. So what this allows you to do is collaboration integration is essential, right? So previously you have all these parts of your business working in silos, and now you have sort of a centralized location that can amalgamate all this information. So you've got the ability now to collaborate across different practices in your business. And even if it's you're an individual running a business, which I'm sure some of you are. And it's about you looking at, you've got the sales hat, you've got a marketing hat, you've got a support hat, you've got all of these things, and you're learning different things from different parts of this journey. So what this allows you to do is to integrate all of that information a lot better, which is essential in having like a single view of this person or this customer that you're trying to interact with. Okay, so that's the first thing, which is a benefit of CRM. The second thing is about pipeline management, and I think this is nothing new. Sales is about this. It's about taking this customer from a sort of a lead all the way to a sale, right? And CRM tools often are able to do this very easily. And it's just a few click of a button here, there, and everywhere, and it takes you from sort of a lead. And like the other speaker spoke about, it was, you've got these platforms and you're trying to attract people, and they come through social, and you've generated a lead from Google in your PPC, or you've generated a lead on Facebook for something specific that you want, and it comes through here, and now you're able to track that, right? So you're able to go from lead and manage that process quite effectively, so nothing falls through the cracks, because every customer is valuable, every single customer. And it also gives the opportunity to look at customers and go, who am I really targeting here? Is this person worthwhile? Because as they move through the funnel, there's a percentage chance of them converting or not. And these tools allow you to do that. So it gives you a statistical representation of the success that you could achieve, right? So then you're able to really focus and be more efficient and go, okay, there's only a 10% chance of this person converting because of the information I have. And then you focus your attention somewhere else. So managing that pipeline is very, very important. Then the third thing is automate for maximum productivity. If there's one thing that you take out of this, and if you have a CRM tool or you don't, is that understand automation. Really, really understand it. And I'll explain to you a little bit later about how these things sort of work. But this comes up a lot. And for me personally, what I've experienced is that automation has made my life in the businesses that I work in and have advised so much easier. There are mundane tasks that often take too much of time. And if you can find a way to automate them, which a lot of CRM tools have, you can automate these tasks. It creates massive efficiency for you and the people within your organization. So automation, extremely important. Okay, number 4 benefit of CRM is engage to build lasting customer relationships. So, and if we look forward, 5 is improve customer experience. And they might seem similar, but they are quite different. One is about engaging to build lasting customer relationships is about understanding them, speaking to your customer, understanding the behavior, thinking about what really is important. And then the customer experience is then goes back into your business. It's about, okay, so now we understand these things, right? So I'm understanding how people want to engage. I'm understanding what they like, what they don't like. And then that informs your experience in your business. So you're starting to use this information to re-engineer whatever you're doing within your business to enable you to really, really get to the heart of what these people want. And that's, I suppose, the differentiation between the two. But they're both quite massive benefits of using a CRM system. And then the 6th, I don't have to tell you about increased revenue. That's why we're doing this, right? Okay. So just in terms of the building blocks of a CRM system, so it's not just about one linear tool and that's it. I mean, CRM is at the heart of how you get things done, and it creates a lot of efficiency and helps you get the things done quickly, effectively, increase revenues, do all of these great benefits. But what you really need to think about when you're looking at a CRM is, okay, what information do I have? What information am I capturing? Where is this information coming from? What is the technology that I'm using? In my other business, in terms of Rentosa, it's a technology business, right? So there's multiple points of entry, as opposed to other retail businesses which I work with, which have one sort of like direction. They sell in one place, in a store, and those kind of things. So you're able to track where these pieces of information are coming from through very simple technologies. So you got to look at all the technology that you from, but also the technology that you want to implement within your business, in terms of the level of CRM tool and things that support it. So that's important. You need to do a lot of research around the technology that effectively drive your business, your vision for your business. And I'll go into this a little bit later. And Vernon spoke about this as well. It's about your vision and your strategy. It's extremely important to understand where you're going, what you want to achieve. If you don't do that up front, it's not going to be completely ineffective, but you're not going to get to where you want to as fast as you want to, because speed is essential. And that and change and pivot and iterate what you're doing is extremely important. But your vision and your strategy need to stay as your Northern Star. And then metrics, of course, your KPIs, how you're measuring stuff, what success looks like, what failure looks like. It's important. Again, it's just building information into your system to enable you to manage these things. Collaboration, I spoke about, that's across the different functions and verticals within your business. And then again, the customer experience that customers have with my brand and my business. The essentials that I like to think about in terms of the building blocks of CRM and what you need to what it needs to encompass. This is not a finite list, and I'm sure people can come up with a lot of other things, but when I look at it, these are the major things that I use to actually effectively drive a CRM campaign, both in the short and long term. So what I'm going to take you through now is just ways I think about CRM. This is how I approach it with my business personally, and also with the clients that I deal with. So how do you think about CRM and your strategy? And some of these, okay. So for me, again, and strategy is extremely important, right? So this will drive the direction of your business. And I sort of been doing it for a long time, so I always think about this first and foremost. And I think everyone here that's got a business or is starting a business, I think it's important to look at that. But if you're already starting a business and you're running with it, strategy still is something you need to look at halfway through all the time. It's an iterative process. So wherever you are in your business, stop, think about it. What is your strategy? What are you trying to get to? And that's the core of how I look at these things. So for me, and how I personally like to approach things is about your strategy is about starting at the end, right? So it's about, what is the goal? What is this North Star? How am I going to get there? And it's not about now, it's about where's this business? Where do I see this business going? Where do I want it to be? You got to think like really long and hard, because often we start businesses, and it's happened to me as well, as you start a business with, this is the goal, and this is what I'm trying to do now. And often when you experience these things and what customers say, and as this business evolves, things change, right? But what you need to find is one single objective for your business that you can rally everybody around. And it must be simple and easy to understand. So I'll give you an example, right? So sometimes you want to, okay, cool, I work in in a delivery space. I want to be the fastest delivery or courier business in the country, and that's your goal. And your goal should be big and bold, guys. Like, it's the only way you can really scale and grow and really go to the heart of everything that you're doing to get to this broad big goal. So I want to be the fastest delivery or courier service in the country, right? So that's my singular objective or singular goal. The information that I need to understand and build is very different to somebody else, right? So I should be analyzing and sorting and building information to understand the ability to deliver the fastest experience, which could be geospatial data. It could be existing infrastructure. It could be plotting these things out. I mean, it just depends on where you are and what information you have at your hands and what you need to gather to ensure that you can be the fastest, right? Then if for example, you want to be the largest, right? You could look at more than just the data that you're seeing currently that's coming in. I mean, if you want to be the largest retailer in the country, what differentiates you? Like, it's going to be that customer information. So you're going to have to really dive deep into the customer information. You might also have to go and do research. So you go pay for research, you structure that research around, this is what I want to try and find out. That kind of information will help you build the just retail business in the country, purely because you have an understanding that nobody else does. You need to find that white space where nobody else is playing, and that requires you to have a lot of data and a lot of insight and a lot of research being done. And then maybe you want to be the simplest, like you want to be the simplest business, you want the simplest and fastest execution on your website to get a person through this funnel. Then it's about really understanding the data that tells you about process, it's about your click-throughs, it's about feedback, those little points across everything that you're doing. That'll help you become the simplest, right? So in terms of your strategy, think about it. Like, it's not something that maybe some of you will be, oh my gosh, it's simple and easy to do, but most of the time it really takes a lot of thought and thinking to get this done. Okay, so now structuring your CRM, and this is about how you build your strategy. For me, I take this process, which is a 3-step process. It's called Discover, Define, and Deliver. And I'll take you through this process now. But the important thing to remember is it's never a static process, right? So you're going to do this constantly. You're going to constantly be discovering what's going on in your business, constantly analyzing the information, redefining and redelivering. And these things are about, discovery is about building the framework, defining is about the processes around it, and deliver is about the actual execution of it. Okay, so when you think about discover, and the way I look at it is that it's about the information. What are you currently doing? What channels are you currently using? Are there links in between? Are you actively like asking for data, or are you sitting there passively and waiting for the data to be fed to you? And either way is fine. You just have to understand where you are, and actively asking for the data is where you want to be. But passive approach is also fine, because you're often going to get insights that you never thought you can really never ask the question for. So you have to be aware of both of them. So it's about discovering like what information you're getting, and then the type of information you're gathering, whether it's customer, it's competitor, it's your partner information, it's social information. That's also important. Look at that, analyze it, see what am I doing? Is there something different that's coming through? Can I use another channel? Because what you capture will determine your success, right? And your CRM platform, often these tools that we have are able to extract this data from all these different channels and pull it into this piece, which is extremely, extremely important, because when having a nice single view of it, you're able to make better decisions. So the information, right? So for example, you're collecting social, digital, print, sales, radio, whatever tools you have within your business. And all these channels are enabling you to gather data, but where do you see the links? For me, it's important that you have to find a link between these two, because again, you want this single view of a customer, right? And if you look there, it says customer data. So you want ideally at some point to have this, depending on what your business is, you want to have sort of a view on this. Again, if you want to be the delivery, fastest delivery business in the country, right? Then you would start by looking at the customer data in terms of geographic location. Geospatial analysis of geospatial data is extremely important for you. Other businesses might be looking at just specific demographic stuff, psychographic, and behavioral pieces as well. But you have to form a really well-rounded profile of customers, and you can segment them into larger pieces, and then you can also hyper-target them that way. So this allows you to do that with the CRM tool. So, and this will guide your strategy, this customer data, because you can then have like multiple iterations of what you need to do to interact with these people and get them to where you need to get them, because you really understand them, right? And you're understanding them at different levels. So it's about aligning your system with the goals and your strategy, and constantly doing that with the data that you have. Consolidating this customer data, all these sort of sources are coming in. You got to consolidate it in some way. Where's the overlap? Where can I build a more robust profile of somebody, or a segment of people? Again, the segmentation of the customers is extremely important. When you see this data, you'll be able to pull this across. And this tool allows you to put these people into sort of like buckets, which creates more efficiency and the ability to target better. And that goes again, then when you're doing all of this, it then allows you to look at your marketing and go out to where you want to market and which channels and how you can target these people. And then it's about personalizing your customer experiences for these segments, or if you're hyper-targeting to these specific customers. And then it's constantly, again, reevaluate, recalibrate your CRM strategy. It's an ongoing thing. So define. Define is about your processes for everything. What do you want your customers seeing? Where do you want to talk to them? How's this journey? Now that you've got this information on them, how do I sort of get them to where I want to get to? And this is also fundamental. It's about the sales funnel, and it's about where they are in that sales funnel, and what do I need to trigger to get them to the next point? And that you can only do, and you can only define those processes once you understand the behaviors, right? So you're looking now at, for example, the sales funnel. It's nothing new, yeah, but the way you look at it becomes very different depending on what your goal is and where you are in that stage. So on the left-hand side, you've got the usual things: awareness, consideration, purchase, retention, advocacy. And then you've got the stuff on the right-hand side, which is about how you're doing it. It's the attraction piece, it's the conversion. How do you sell? How do you connect? And depending on your business, this should be very different, right? So you want to attract them via social, for example. You want to convert them via phone call. Sometimes you want to convert them via social. It just depends on what your business is structured like. And then the connection piece, for example, is email. Or it's maybe you have a massive sales team and you have the ability to connect with people individually, video calls, all of those kind of things. But again, it's about defining that process, about what you want to do at each stage. For me, personally, what's important, and I think that the biggest part that I try to focus on, is post-purchase, which is where you're actually going to drive your customer lifetime value, right? It's about the retention and advocacy, and often that becomes a loop, because if you can understand them, you can customize the offers, you can understand their life stage, you can incentivize them in the right way, you can continuously drive that revenue through there, and the data you collect will help you do that. And the more you do this successfully, the better and more refined the data is for you to get to where you need to get to. Okay, and then the presentation is not moving. There we go. And then deliver. Deliver is actually, it's very important. Execution is extremely important. It's great planning everything and structuring everything, but executing it to actually get to where you need to get to is paramount. So for me, in the delivery stage, it's about, what do you want your sales team to be exposed to? What do you want support to be exposed to? What are you communicating across your business? And how are you getting this done? Like, does everybody know? Is everybody on the same page? That's extremely important, guys. I've had instances before where sales again doesn't talk to marketing, and the support team doesn't know anything, and everybody's like all over the place. Nobody's actually looking at this customer holistically and really taking them through this funnel and understanding what needs to happen next. CRM will help you integrate all of this. Integration is extremely important. So now you've got one view. Everybody knows where they sit within that process, within this customer's life cycle, and they're able to add value at that point in terms of marketing, in terms of sales, in terms of post-purchase support. That's a really interesting way to look at things because you've got a singular view. And the better that view, the easier it is for you to get to the end stage of where you want to get to. And again, I've put automation in here. Automation is essential. The amount of data you will come across and the amount of channels and the amount of conversations that are happening, you have to have automation in here to make your life easier. So things that could relay stuff from your initial sales into your marketing, then from marketing into your support, and then back again, just so that everybody sees things in the same way and everybody knows what's happened here, everybody knows what's happened there, and simple automations can do these things for you, and even automation will even automate simple things like marketing and support pieces for you. A simple email, once somebody's purchased something, can be automated to say thank you. I mean, let me tell you, that will do so much of work for your business if you can automate a simple thing like that just to say thank you. Communication is key, guys, and these kind of tools and understanding this customer is what's going to help you win here. Simple thing like saying thank you, because maybe they've dealt with 10 businesses before and nobody's really taken the time to say thank you, can change their perception of your business. It's really important. The detail is extremely important. Okay, so that's the 3 stages I usually go through and how I look at this when I develop CRMs for any businesses, or even on a daily basis for my own business, and how I get this done. And I'd advise you to, then you don't have to use the same process, but I mean, this is how I do it, but it's just the things you think about throughout this journey that can help you become more effective in customer relationship management. So the outcomes here at the end of the day, guys, it's you want to turn your leads into customers and your customers into advocates. Extremely important. You've got 10 people in your business talking about your business and your marketing tools, but if you've got 100 customers that become advocates, you have a 10-fold increase in the number of people that can talk about your business in a positive light. That's priceless, right? So you want to create customers and change them into advocates. Again, it's about increasing customer satisfaction and the retention. Having all the customer interactions in one place, one view, as I said, is important. Knowing your numbers, guys, is extremely important. Knowing your numbers, especially as a fledgling business trying to grow, you require funding in those kind of things. It's to scale your business. So knowing your numbers is extremely important. When anybody needs to ask you anything, you can give them that information. Also, it's also about knowing about your customer numbers, right? Which is going to drive your strategy and drive what you focus on. So sales performance to help iterate sales strategies it's just also great. CRM allows you to manage. So not only are you collecting this data in all the space, but it allows you to understand who's interacting with this data within your business and how we're interacting with it. So you can sort of change your behavior to become more efficient. And then it helps you to prioritize, guys. Prioritization is essential. Like, you can't do everything at the same time. What is important, and making sure that those important pieces are hit first so that we can end up with a great translation. Okay, so just a few tips and tricks, I suppose, that I've learned, and I think are just things that could help, is that if customer touchpoints, for live assistance, if your customer touchpoints require live support, engage with them, one-on-one video chat, or a co-browsing solution. Identify your customer journey, provide live assistance if you have to for better resolution and customer service experience. Omni-channel presence, know your customer's preferred channel, guys, to reach your business and be available for real-time support. Improve your customer relationships by delivering consistent and multi-channel support experiences. As simple as that. Automate, I'm not even going to say this again, that's super important on all platforms. Continuous marketing cycle, you're supposed to keep customers engaged sale after sale. Should not only be one part of your customer journey, it should be everything, right? When you engage with your customers post-sales, they feel valued and it improves your customer retention. So that's seriously, seriously important. Social media for customer service is becoming a big thing. I mean, you can actually get to a point where you can sell on WhatsApp now, which might not be a traditional social media, but it's still a platform that you need to think about. And you can sell on Facebook through store. You can sell on Messenger. There's so many things that you can do here. So it's customer service and social media is becoming essential, and timing around that is extremely important. So think about those things. Conversion, like you need to focus on your customer service strategy, which will enable you to help with conversion. Again, increasing satisfaction. It's making sure that you understand expectations. That's what it is, guys. Just make sure you listen to your customers and what satisfies them, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and just like make sure you build that constantly. And I think the power of a strong brand, you can't deny these things, right? So the power of a strong brand is it needs to be consistent, but it's just remember, a brand is, and what consumers think about is made up of the experiences that they have. 2 minutes. The experiences that they have with your brand that'll actually give them the understanding of your brand. So it's extremely important to ensure that you keep every touch point consistent, and as far as you can, make it a positive experience, because that's going to drive what people think of your brand. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this video here because I think we're running out of time. But just for CRM platforms, right? Just at the end here is about, this is the key features you need to look at for your CRM platform. It's about lead management. You need a tool that can encompass all of this. It's about lead management, contact management, email management, and sales automation, deal management, reporting and analytics, marketing automation, which is also something that can be offered through certain platforms, and then customization. Ideally, this is like the Ferrari of features that you need in your business, and you don't have to have them all at the same time. But there are plenty of tools that can offer you this, guys. It's not too foreign. There's plenty of people doing these things. So if you can find a CRM platform, if you have one, great. If you don't, look for a few. And these are some of the ones that I think globally are really great CRM platforms. Some of them have really interesting free CRM tools. And I'm sure Dylan will share this with you. There's a link here I've put in here that's got a multitude of free CRM tools that you can look at for your business. And just ensure, like, just an ending for me is that ensure that you have thought about CRM. Ensure that you have this tool, because if you want to scale your business, it is important you have this in place, because otherwise you're going to spend a lot of time trying to do stuff manually, trying to analyze stuff by yourself, and it's really going to hinder your progress in your business and getting to where you want to, and it becomes frustrating. So on my side, think about CRM. It's super important. Think about the tool you want to put in place, and think about how you get this done, and you can implement this into the tools that are existing. And that's me. So I hope that was useful. I'm available for questions and things like that. So let me know. And yeah, thanks, Dylan. I hope everybody enjoyed that and got some value out of it.
Thanks, Mashan. No, very, very interesting. I mean, it's a lot to kind of process, but in the end of the day, it's a very, very useful mechanism to have in place. Again, getting to know your customers and your audience and getting to know what they like, what they're interested in is so important in terms of creating. I mean, it feeds back to everything in terms of actually having a product and having a brand that lands with people. You want to have relevance in their lives, and that will ultimately drive, like saying, sales, revenue, everything like that. So we have pretty much it's just gone 1:30, which is kind of where we put the cutoff time for this. But if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. We're sure we can squeeze in 2 minutes. Otherwise, if there are any questions, feel free to send them on to us. You can send your questions to virtual@theloudhailer.org, and we can pass these on to our speakers and get back to you. Like Mashan mentioned, we will be sharing the presentation after this event. We're going to put it into a nice playbook, and that'll have all the information, all the lessons. So if you came in late or if you had to leave a bit early, we will be able to share all the insights with you for your knowledge and for your convenience. One question that we did have come through also a little bit earlier. There's been a lot said about the importance of research and about data and about tracking metrics. So first of all, we've had a couple of the tools mentioned. I know Vernon mentioned them, and then now Mashan's just mentioned something for CRM. But for our speakers, I mean, for people who don't necessarily have access to the more expensive tools or ones that have a very limited time period to use, what are some of the methodologies and methods that you can use on your own? Some of the I guess, the unautomated. I know Mashan spoke a lot about the importance of automation, but what can you do right now with limited resources to gather some insights? So I don't know which one of our speakers, if you have any insights on that. How can I manually go and collect some data? What should I be doing about my competitors, about my audience? If it's things like insights from social media, for instance.
Vernon?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll wait.
So I wanted to say a good start is to set up Google Analytics and connect that to your website, and then also connect your Google Analytics to your Google Ads account, so you can have simple metrics, for example, bounce rate, average amount of pages per session. Have that in your Google account. That will help a lot. And a tool that we use, which is not that pricey, is called Slido. And I just type it into the chat box, and with that, it's really nice to visualize your campaign KPIs, and you can do month-on-month comparison and year-on-year comparison. And you can also visualize all of the platforms such as Facebook, Google Ads, Instagram Ads, LinkedIn Ads, Google Analytics, and even some of your CRM data.
Awesome, thanks, Sarah. Sorry, Vernon, over to you.
No, I think just where you started. Always refer back to your business plan. Where did you position yourself in market? What does the market look like? Write these things, journal these things, and then you self-evaluate. And market performance data is all around. It's in your own sales. It's in your own sales. It's in local media. So take a dipstick of what's happening around you, even in that simple way. And then, of course, use these digital tools, the digital side of your business, but keep thinking of the whole environment.
No, definitely. So I guess I don't want to keep everyone away from their other obligations. I know we're now 5 minutes over. So if there any closing thoughts, considerations from our speakers? Don't feel obligated. I know we are pressed for time. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you so much again, Sarah.
Can I just say one thing on that?
Go ahead.
My experience is that, yes, have a strategy, have a plan, but don't be too precious about every step. Like, things will change. You will experience things that you never experienced before. Information that you never thought you would have. Customers asking for specific things. Like, the environment will change. Just be agile enough to adapt and just like learn from that continuously. Because you could start in one place and end up somewhere completely different, which could be an even more successful place that you thought you would never be in. So just embrace the change. Like, it's difficult at times, embrace the change, learn from it, and just continually like grow from it. Sure.
Thanks, Mashan. Awesome. Well, on that note, let's leave it there. Our next workshop will be happening in November. This date was set for the 17th, and this one's going to be focusing all about digital tools and platforms. So we're going to be looking into things like WhatsApp for Business, Facebook Business Manager, Google Ads, and many, many more. So keep your eyes peeled. We'll be sending out some more information to everyone who's registered so far. But yeah, that will be coming up in November. Otherwise, please, if you have any other questions, feel free to email us at virtual@theloudhailer.org. I'm going to put it in the chat one more time. I see we did have a hand raised. Unfortunately, we just don't have time to get to any more questions, but feel free to send them that way and we'll get back to you ASAP. Thank you very much. Have a really good rest of your afternoon, and we'll see you next time. And thanks again to Sarah, Vernon, and Mashan. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.